Den of Thieves 2 Pantera is in theaters now. This is a follow-up to the 2018 crime caper Den of Thieves. Gerard Butler returns as Detective Nick O'Brien, and Oshea Jackson Jr. returns as Donnie. Also, director Christian Gutegas returns as screenwriter and director. Now, this story takes place in Europe and is a continuation of the first Den of Thieves. If you haven't seen the first Den of Thieves, I recommend that you do see it because it is a really good crime thriller. So in the original Den of Thieves, Oshea Jackson Jr. plays a confidence man who assembles a crew to rob the Federal Reserve. Now, they just about get away with it, but only thing standing in their way is Detective Nick O'Brien. And Nick O'Brien is a sheriff with the LA County Police Department who is hell-bent on apprehending these deadly suspects. And it is do or die with him. He'll bring you in dead or alive. He is a sheriff. And so it's a continuation of that story because the surviving crew member is Oshea Jackson Jr., who plays Donnie. And so Donnie is in Europe assembling a whole nother team so that he can rob the Diamond District in Nice. Now, as the story unfolds, Nick is still trying to get the last crew member, but the government, the FBI, and the government is like, we're closing the case. It's going to be cold because we can't get the word out that anyone robbed the Federal Reserve. But Nick needs his man. He always captures his suspect. So he's going to find a way to do it until he's convinced that the other side, that robbing is more lucrative. And so he finds a way to get over to Europe and join Oshea Jackson Jr.'s crew, or Donnie's crew. Now, that's in the trailer. I haven't spoiled anything. In fact, there's a whole lot more to this story, which is why I recommend that you see Den of Thieves 2. It is a slow burn for sure. If you like heat, I think you'll like Den of Thieves 2 because that's how paced and deliberate the story is. Nick and Donnie are building their relationship and building their confidence in each other as any thieves would, right? As any confidence men would. They would take their time to build trust. And that's how the story unfolds. They are building their trust. They're building the chemistry. And the chemistry is there between Gerard Butler and Oshea Jackson Jr. It is undeniable. They work well on screen together. And that's how I was able to buy in to the story building because it does take its time. Den of Thieves had a lot of action sequences. In fact, one of the best shootout scenes or highway shootout scenes since Bad Boys 2. I won't go as far as saying it is as good as Bad Boys 2 or even the shootout scenes in Heat, but it is that level. It's that tier. And this one doesn't have all of those big action sequences. It has set pieces, but those set pieces are dramatic because we're building the relationship here. And because Gerard Butler is such a good actor, I bought in. He is going to make sure the role is meaty, and he does just that. He is such a scene stiller and attention grabber in this film. I liked it. It looks beautiful. The cinematography is good. I wish the soundtrack was better and hipper because of the themes and the storyline. I think it needed to step up the soundtrack, but they didn't license a whole lot of songs to make it hipper. So I wish it would have done that to carry or usher along the story since it's so winding. One of the drawbacks, I think, with the film, now that I'm on that, is that there are some scenes that divert from the larger narrative and storyline of the film that take time to call back. So there was that. I think at least 20 minutes of this film could have been cut to lessen the runtime, especially the beginning, because if you've seen the first film, then you know that Nick was going through a divorce. I don't think that that was important to bring up here. It's unnecessary because of his character. We really don't need to know that he's going through a divorce. There were a few scenes that I think could have been cut, but the action sequences are big and they are powerful and they are really good, especially the first couple of action sequences. But most of them are later in the second act and in the third act. And it really leaves you guessing which side Nick is on until the very last second. This is a good movie. Again, it's a slow burn. You do have to take your time with it because it takes some time to get there. But I was so invested. I liked it. And it's set up for a third, it's set up for a continuation. And I think there was enough stock in the relationship between Nick and Donnie that makes me want to come along, continue on this journey in their story. So I recommend Den of Thieves 2 Pantera. I liked it. I love Heat. I love crime capers and crime thrillers. So I was going to be in no matter what. If you like them to see Den of Thieves 2 Pantera on the biggest screen you can find.